Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I pray that this video finds you in a very good health. My name is Abubakar Zakaria. I'm a nurse and I'm at War Memorial Hospital. I would like to share with you some very important message with regards to our accident scenes. Accidents do happen every day. Accidents happen every day because our roads are not good and we have reckless drivers and on and on. But one thing I want to talk about is, with regards to the way we handle our accident scenes, and then what we should do when accidents do happen and we have lots of people who, fall victims. Whenever accidents do happen, what the first thing you see people doing is to come out with their phones. What are they going to do? They start videoing, they start taking pictures, and the next minute is on the social media. And the question I do ask is that, do we have any sense of empathy in us? Can you imagine yourself involved in an accident, lying down, and somebody comes to stand on you with a camera and he's snapping you? Can you imagine? Will you be happy? So that attitude, in fact, it shows how unconcerned we are. It shows how unsympathetic or empathetic we are. That attitude is not good. And it's mostly because when these accidents happen, we really don't know what to do. Aside bringing them from the car and then laying them on the street, there is nothing else we can do to save the lives of these people. But I want to draw your attention to something very important, that when accidents do happen, the major thing that kills most of them is severe hemorrhage. You have people who bleed, too much bleeding, they bleed a lot, and they end up dying because of that severe bleeding. And you and I, who happen to appear there at that scene, we become the saviors of these people. We can really do something to help them, to stop the bleeding. So your major concern, after bringing them from the car, your major concern is to identify any part of that person's body that is bleeding and try as much as possible to stop the bleeding. And there is a very simple thing you can do. Very simple. Where there is the bleeding, if it's on the hand, just get something. You can tear a cloth or anything, just put it on and then tie it so tight enough to stop the bleeding. If it's the forehead, try and then put something on and then tie it. Any part of the body that is bleeding, try and get something. If the person is wearing any cloth, you can tear it and then use it to tie that part that is bleeding. Because when you are able to do this simple thing, very simple, when you are able to do this very simple thing, you have saved the life of this person. And if you also get involved in an accident, any accident, maybe you had a cat in the house or whatever, cat, stop washing it. You know, that's what we do. When we are bleeding, sometimes from the head, something hits us and we are bleeding, we start washing, we wash till we are saved by God and the bleeding stops. No, don't do that. The first thing you should do is to you yourself, if you are still very conscious, put your hand on the wound where the cut is, press it hard, and the bleeding will stop. Press it hard for some few minutes, the bleeding will stop. Don't be washing. So if there's any accident and you are involved and you are still conscious and you see that a body part is involved which is bleeding, if your hand will be enough to cover it, use it and then press it. But if you are doing it for somebody, be very careful with the blood, the way you get contact with the blood. It can be very dangerous too. While you are trying to help somebody, you end up carrying some disease from the person. So be very careful. If there are no gloves, which obviously mostly there are you can get polythene bags and wrap your hand and then help the person out 2-3 polythene bags with your hands and then wrap. And I would advise every driver to have a pack of gloves in your driver's seat. Just have it there. You have most of the private cars having them. You can also have it as a commercial driver, and then you have, people come when there's any accident, you can easily give it out if you're passing by, or if it's your car that is involved, somebody who can easily grab it, wear it, and then help the victims. You see, I am telling you this because if you go to the advanced countries, all you need to do is to pick your phone and call the ambulance to come. But in Ghana, we don't have ambulances. We don't have that luxury. You see, we have the luxury to buy cars, for the expensive cars for the politicians. One person's car can buy in so many ambulances, but we don't have that luxury. So you and I have to help ourselves. We don't have that luxury. In Ghana, we have only 54 ambulances. What a shame! Only 54 for the whole country. And the region I am currently in, the Upper East region, I don't know, maybe it's just yesterday. The last time, just 4 days before the ex-vice president died, we needed an ambulance in the whole region. There was not a single ambulance. We had to call a private ambulance from Tamale, the northern region, to come to the Upper East region and pick. The whole region, there was not a single ambulance. So forget about the ambulances. Try and help the person. And don't be in a hurry to carry the person in the car and then convey the person to the hospital. There might not be a very near hospital close by. There might not be a hospital close by. So carry him in that distance, bleeding that way, before you get there, the person will pass on. So take your time and arrest the bleeding. If you're able to do that, you have already done the first thing that the nurses and the doctors are going to do for him or her. So take your time, get those people, parasites, those sites that are bleeding, get the bleeding, arrest the bleeding, and then you convey the person. So my brother, my sister, kindly, I beg you, kindly share this video to all your WhatsApp groups, to your Facebook groups, your WhatsApp, contacts. The person you are sending it to might be the one to appear in your accident scene. Let's all help reduce the deaths. In fact, when you hear the number of deaths that are happening in our, it's so scary. It's so scary. And if we all have this first aid measure just on our fingertips, this simple thing, if we are able to do them for our accident victims, we will be saving about 80 to 90% of lives that we lose through accident. So kindly share this video. Do not allow it. Kindly share it and then help let's reduce the number of deaths, the casualties that happen in our accident scenes. Some happen in our scenes before we carry others to the hospitals. They are already dead because they bleed to death. So please, I will be sharing some other first aid measures we can do when there are other situations, but this is for accidents, and then both home and then on our streets. When you have bleeding, just apply pressure at the site. If it's so, if the cut is so big, it's a big laceration that your hand cannot cover, just get something and then tie it very tightly, and then get yourself at the hospital and get treated. And if the bleeding stops, don't end up there. Go to the hospital, because there are some anti-tetanuses you need to take. Very important, very, very important. So let's all help ourselves. Let's help ourselves. Try and share this video. Thank you very much for listening. If you need to contact me, my WhatsApp contact is 0249 60 18 82. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye.